please do not support the Paladin Project. My name is Golden, and you may recognize me from the collaborations that I did this summer with James T. George. And I have been needing to make this video for a while, so please hear me out. James has exhibited a series of predatory and repetitive behaviors regarding femme-presenting people, including sexual harassment, assault, and unfortunately, in my case, rape. We met in May, and our dynamic was immediately flirtatious. When we started to film together, we started a romantic relationship, which many of you guys guessed, but we decided to keep it off of social platforms to keep everything private and non-committal. But during that time, we were intimate very frequently, and that was all consensual. One night in July, we had just finished a long day of recording, and the place that we recorded is roughly 8 miles up a canyon, and when all of the hikers leave for the day, it's pretty secluded. That night, I was having some cramping and was in extreme discomfort, and so I told him, hey, I'm not feeling up for anything tonight, and he agreed. He dug out a bottle of tequila out of the van and said, hey, we can just drink tonight, and I thought that it might ease some of the pain I was in, so I agreed. We didn't have any food beyond snacks, and I generally don't eat on filming days anyway, and so I was well aware of the fact that I had a nearly empty stomach and that the alcohol was going to hit harder. In addition to that, I didn't want to be hungover for work the next day, and so I was trying to pace myself when it came to the alcohol. I had never had tequila before, I didn't know how it was going to affect me, but James kept saying things like, oh, take another shot. You haven't had enough to feel anything yet. Like, here you go, have some more. And because I trusted him, I agreed. And when it all hit, I realized that it was way too much. And he got overly touchy and ended up having sex despite the no that I had given. Again, we were in a very secluded location, and in the state that I was in, I could not have driven myself home even if I wanted to, but I also could not have given informed consent to an action like that the way that I was, especially since I had denied it multiple times. I second-guessed myself for a really long time. I thought I was in love with him, and so I did all of the gaslighting myself. We had a relationship going, we had intimacy in the past, but it felt wrong. And I know that rape can still happen in relationships. I know that I said no. I know, again, that we had that kind of relationship going. But deep down, I knew that he had violated my consent. And ultimately, I thought he loved me. And so I tried to forgive him and move past it. Later that month, we went to Colorado. And the night before the Renaissance Fair, we met up with a couple creators for dinner. And he walked in with his long-term partner that he had never told me about. Unfortunately, I forgave him for that as well, and it all kind of came to an end after Gen Con, where there was some bad air between us and we stopped speaking shortly thereafter. I moved on with my life and my content, and I was having fun with the people that I had and doing the things that I was doing, and I thought that I could just kind of put him in the past and move along with my life. That is until I learned that he was doing the same manipulation game to somebody else. In speaking to and hearing more of James' past victims, the manipulation tactics are nearly identical. It's the love bombing and the attention, and it's almost verbatim down to the phrasing of things that he would say to each one of us. More disturbingly, though, is the fact that only a few months before my sexual assault, he had used the same tactics of pushing drinks and then getting non-consensually handsy with someone. And fortunately, witnesses were able to intervene before he took a clearly intoxicated person out to the seclusion of his van. There was a video that a previous friend of his posted during the summer that detailed similar circumstances and a lot more about his history. And that friend tried to get that out as a warning to his manipulative and narcissistic behavior. But because social media is the way that it is, it did not get the traction that it needed and was very quickly swept under the rug. That is why it is so important for me to make this video. I am well aware of how incredibly recognizable James and I became this summer. And if you know what the Paladin of Project entails, it means that James can travel across the country to work with different creators. And many, if not most, of these victims I've been referencing have been people from these collaborations. Please do not fund this behavior. Please don't support a predator that has gotten away with his actions for way too long. And if you are a content creator, especially femme presenting, or a company looking to work with James T. George, please reconsider. James is an incredibly charismatic person, and he's great at twisting situations to benefit him. He will try and talk his way out of this. As with many of our confrontations in the past couple of months, he is very quick to gaslight and dodge responsibility for things, despite how many evidence and witnesses are against him in that. I am not the only person close to him that knows what he's like. And many of the people that you would recognize in the D&D and TTRPG community have started distancing themselves away from him because they know what kind of a person he is. Please, please, if you have a story that you've been afraid to tell, don't be scared to come forward. You are not alone. You are not at fault. You have my full support and my empathy. We should not have been put in the position that we were. We can't escape the embarrassment and violation that was done to us. The only thing we can do now is make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. Thank you for watching all the way through this video. If you could offer some interaction to try and get it on the algorithm to the correct people, I would really, really appreciate it. As for me, I'm doing well. I will probably take a break from content and social media for a little bit, but I will come back because I enjoy doing this and I genuinely get so much happiness from being able to create cool things and share them with you. So I'll be back, I promise, because I love you guys. I really do. Please stay safe.